Taylor, what do you do for a living in Nashville?
I'm a singer.
Ha! Of course you are. A singer. And you live in Nashville, you're probably a songwriter too?
Yeah, and I have 6 Grammys too.
I think sometimes celebrities forget that rules do apply to them and their actions do in fact have consequences. There is nothing more satisfying to see than a star being problematic and then immediately have to pay for their mistakes. For some, the crime may be worth the punishment, but for these 10, I wonder if it was worth it. Today we're counting down the top 10 celebrities that got instant karma. Make sure you let me know which celebrity you think got the worst karma out of them all in the comments below. At number 10, Charlize Theron. Best known for her roles in the Mad Max franchise, Theron knows about karma all too well. In 2005, the actor signed an agreement to promote watchmaker Raymond Wheel's Shine collection through advertising and by wearing his watches exclusively. However, during the contract term, Theron was photographed at a screening of a film produced by her company wearing a watch by Dior. The photograph may have gone unnoticed, but it made its way to Tourneau Times, which is a publication the company distributes to high-spending customers. To really make sure people know that she was breaking the contract, the caption under the photo read, "Charlize Theron wears Dior." Since she broke her contract, Theron was taken to court, where RW wanted her to pay $20 million for it. Theron recognized her mistake, calling it regrettable, with the judge agreeing it was more than regrettable, it was a clear breach of the agreement. Theron also attempted to get herself out of being sued by claiming that her management company had made the deal, and she only signed as an agent of the company, but the judge was having none of it due to the fact that the actor initialed every page. The actual price she ended up having to pay for wearing that Dior watch is unknown, but the settlement was most likely less than the initial $20 million, but still a lot of money and hassle just for a watch. At number 9, James Corden. Not long ago, Corden received instant karma by being exposed as a rude customer by Keith McNally, owner of French restaurant Balthazar in New York City. McNally posted on Instagram saying that Corden had been the most insulting customer to servers since the restaurant opened 25 years ago. He claimed that Corden was extremely nasty, yelling like crazy at restaurant staff, and was infuriated by the sight of a little bit of egg white inside an egg yolk omelet that his wife had ordered. Corden was such a bad guest that McNally banned the late night host from Balthazar. After the post went viral, Corden called the restaurant and apparently apologized profusely, which was good enough to get him unbanned. Unfortunately for him, the damage had already been done. It didn't take long for social media to blow up with other stories from people claiming to have had bad experiences when dealing with Corden. Damning stories exposing his dismissive attitude to workers have been floating around for several years, but it seems like this time they're really being noticed. One story shared online says that Corden attended a Writers Guild Association meeting and actually advocated for lowering the pay of late night workers in person. Hopefully Corden will think twice next time before being rude to a restaurant staff. At number 8, Will Smith. When it comes to the infamous Oscar slap between host Chris Rock and Will Smith, it is a perfect example of receiving instant karma. Of course, we all know what happened almost a year ago at the award show. Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith looking like G.I. Jane due to her sporting a bald look. Of course, the joke was nothing too crazy, but she does have alopecia, which causes hair loss, so I guess it was a touchy subject for her. Regardless, after making the joke, Jada rolled her eyes, kicking Smith's protective husband mode into gear. Next thing we know, Smith is storming the stage and slapping the unsuspecting Rock right in the face. Smith returned to his seat and yelled, "Keep my wife's name out of your effing mouth." Rock was visibly shaken by Smith's reaction, as were most people watching, but he laughed it off and kept going. Of course, Smith's actions did not come without consequences. Smith was immediately banned from attending the Oscars for 10 years, and he also resigned from the Academy itself. Of course, the actor could still win an Oscar, but he'd have to send someone to accept it for him. I think Smith being a part of the Academy only made things worse. Now, almost a year later, I think things have pretty much blown over with Smith, but that being said, we will never forget the Oscar slap. At number 7, Jussie Smollett. This is one actor who messed up big time, but I don't have to tell him that because karma did it for me. Smollett started out as a child actor in The Mighty Ducks, but more recently portrayed Jamal Lyon on Empire. In 2019, he made headlines for being the target of a hate crime in Chicago. The news of the attack had fans and really everyone who heard the story worried for the actor until it came out that Smollett had actually staged the whole thing and he was never in any real danger. Of course, upon learning this, he was promptly fired from Empire, which was in its 5th season at the time. Smollett ended up having charges filed against him for both making a false police report and, of course, wasting police time and resources. This was such a colossal mess up that Smollett was taken to trial in 2021, where he was found guilty for 5 out of the 6 counts he'd been charged with and was sentenced to 150 days in county jail. He got lucky and was released on bond after just 6 days, but hopefully while there he really had time to think about what a dumb idea it was for him to stage a hate crime. Smollett did later make a return to Hollywood, but this time he did it behind the camera with B-Boy Blues. Since the film came out, it seems the actor has been laying low, but who knows, maybe 2023 is the year Smollett returns to the screen. At number 6, DaBaby. In 2021, people were not impressed with the rapper after making homophobic remarks during his set at a Miami music festival. DaBaby at the time was blowing up for his feature on Dua Lipa's song Levitating, so he had tons of new fans. The rapper told the crowd, "If you didn't show up today with HIV, AIDS, or any of them lethal STDs that'll make you pass in 2 to 3 weeks, then put a cell phone light in the air." He also told the crowd, "Fellas, if you ain't sucking D in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up." The next day, DaBaby took to Instagram to clarify his comments, only making things worse for himself. He said that his fans would never contract these diseases because they aren't, quote, nasty gay N-words or junkies. He said that his fans would never contract these diseases because they aren't, quote, nasty gay N-words or junkies. I wasn't going on a rant, that's called a call to action. That's what that's called, because I'm a live performer. I'm the best live performer. The post only made things worse and confirmed that the rapper was in fact homophobic. Immediately, Dua Lipa wrote, "I'm surprised and horrified at DaBaby's comments. I don't really recognize this as the person I worked with." The remix was immediately pulled from airplay, and then his show cancellations started pouring in. DaBaby had 9 shows and festival appearances canceled right away, losing him money, fans, and the hype surrounding him as an artist. At number 5, Whoopi Goldberg. In the early 2000s, Goldberg was a spokesperson for the brand Slim Fast. In 2004, though, the brand was not happy with her, along with many other Americans, due to the comments she made about then-President George W. Bush. Goldberg was one of a number of Hollywood figures who performed at a fundraiser for presidential candidate John Kerry. After the event, her comments were criticized by media for being too sexually charged. Goldberg has even claimed that her career went dark amid the backlash. At the event, Goldberg said, "When Bush comes to shove, don't whine, vote Kerry, and that's why I'm here tonight, because I love Bush. But someone's giving Bush a bad name. Someone has tarnished the name of Bush." She continued on for a bit before ending it with, "My Bush is smarter than that, and if my Bush is smarter than that, you can understand just how dumb I think that other Bush is." She closed by saying, "Vote your heart and your mind and keep your Bush where it belongs," and then pointed to her crotch. The New York Post called it an X-rated rant, and a Slim Fast spokesperson said, "We are disappointed by the manner in which Ms. Goldberg chose to express herself and sincerely regret that her recent remarks offended some of our consumers. Ads featuring Ms. Goldberg will no longer be on the air." At number 4, David O. Russell. He's the man behind many movies, directing films like American Hustle, Three Kings, and most recently, Amsterdam. Russell has a history of alleged inappropriate verbal and physical behavior towards actors on set, with there even being video footage of him losing it on actor Lily Tomlin. Russell is so icky that he even admitted to touching his 19-year-old niece's breasts in 2011, stating that she was being very provocative. So just an all-around gross dude. This is why when his new movie Amsterdam was announced to come out last year, people were surprised, mind blown, and a little appalled that the film included such a star-studded cast. The movie, which came out in October 2022, featured big names like Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, Taylor Swift, Anya Taylor-Joy, Robert De Niro, and Chris Rock, among others. Why these people would be jumping at the chance to work with someone who has an extensive list of misconduct and mistreatment of others is beyond me. Luckily for us, the movie ended up being a massive flop. One review of Amsterdam said, "Great cast who did the best they could with a lousy script, poor editing, and atrocious directing by David Russell, whose record of hits equally matching misses, and vice versa continues." The overall film has a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. The star-studded cast received backlash for their involvement, and Russell's first film in several years tanked at the box office, losing nearly $1 million. At number 3, Charlie Sheen. There are plenty of things you may know the actor from, but I think the thing he's most known for is, of course, 2.5 Men. At the peak of the show, Sheen was one of the highest paid actors actors on TV, raking in over $1 million per episode. If he was making that much money, why in the world was his character written off in the 9th season? Well, he decided to start making negative comments about the show's producer, Chuck Lorre, in multiple interviews both online and on network TV. Of course, at the time, Sheen was battling with his substance use issues, but Lorre didn't care. Sheen launched anti-Semitic insults at Lorre and called him a turd and a clown. I mean, like most bosses, I would hope Lorre decided to have Sheen's character in the show pass away and then replaced his spot on the show with Ashton Kutcher. Sheen learned that day, no matter how established you are on a show or how much money you're making, it could be all taken away in an instant. Of course, looking back now, Sheen has some regrets, revealing 10 years later that people have come up to him and said, "Hey man, that was so cool to be a part of and all that energy, you know, we stuck it to the man." He then went on to say, "My thought behind that one is, oh yeah, great, I'm glad I traded early retirement for an effing hashtag." Indeed, at the time, Sheen was not in fact hashtag winning, but realizing that now is definitely on the right track. At number 2, Edward Norton. The actor has been in plenty of hits like Fight Club and Primal Fear. In 2008, Norton landed the role of Hulk in The Incredible Hulk. Getting to be a part of the MCU is huge for actors considering the success of the franchise, but getting to be the lead is next level, and he was even an uncredited screenwriter on top of it all. The film performed pretty well, good enough that come time for the second film, people were surprised to hear of the recasting of Hulk. After the release of the first film, it was widely reported that Norton was difficult to work with on set, and even though he submitted his own draft of the script, he was reportedly constantly making changes. According to his co-star Tim Roth, there were daily rewrites. Norton even poked fun at himself at the roast of Bruce Willis, saying, "I tried to be like you, I did a big action movie called The Incredible Hulk. You know what went wrong? I wanted a better script." In 2010, shortly before announcing The Avengers, Kevin Feige clarified why Norton was let go, saying it was rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members. Beginning in 2012, Mark Ruffalo took over the role and has been the Hulk ever since. I guess that's what you get when you try to take over a script. And at number 1, Kanye West. For years, the rapper has been spewing nonsensical rants that no one wants to hear at places and times that are wildly inappropriate. Recently though, West has been worse than ever before. Of course, there was all the public stuff going on with his ex-wife Kim Kardashian, where he accused her of keeping their children from him and doxed their schools. Things got really dark when the rapper began to go hard on spewing harmful anti-Semitic and anti-black comments on various TV shows, podcasts, and social media platforms. This is when a lot of fans were done with West, who clearly is in need of some care when it comes to his mental illness. Companies with ties to Ye started dropping like flies last year in the midst of his tirades, but the final straw came after a group of people hung banners in support of West and his offensive comments over the Interstate 405 in LA. The biggest collaboration West had was with Adidas. In October 2022, he went on the Drink Champs podcast days before the banner was hung and said, "I can say anti-Semitic and Adidas can't drop me." West quickly ate his words because a week later the brand terminated its relationship with West, expecting a projected Q4 loss of $246 million. This move also stripped West of his billionaire status. To top it all off, Adidas owns the design rights to his popular Yeezy products. Other brands including Balenciaga, Gap, and even his own talent agency CAA have also cut ties with the rapper. That was the top 10 celebrities that got instant karma. I've been your host Maddie, and I will catch you next time for another Top 10 Countdown.